Yes, brother, well said. I've been meaning to get to your comment there. I remember growing up, and keep in mind, I was like in ninth, 10th grade or something, and I was talking to my tutor, who was a tutor because I was doing so lousy in school, about how I should just be able to box, and boxers make a lot of money, and blah blah blah. And he said to me, "Yeah, but Derek, what about like the guy who's ranked number 8 in the world?" And he never gets over and never wins a title. And I stopped and I started thinking about it. It was the first time it dawned on me that only the champions really made good money. But forget about that for a second. How about any team you're on, guys? So people who join teams, right? You become very attached to it, right? Like, like these are my guys. I spill blood with them, blah blah blah. But if you really look inside teams, what really happens is there's one guy, maybe two guys who get over the top. They don't tend to help the other people. And so the other guys are just sparring partners, essentially, for the rest of the team. Now, don't get me wrong, they may have their fights, and they may win a little here and lose a little here, but at the end of the day, they never break out. And so that's why teams fracture almost inherently, right? Because people are so self-interested that they don't help their teammates actually achieve that next level. It's just a natural part of human behavior. Teams that really do hold together are more than the sum of their parts. An ATT, a syndicate, places like that are about the structure that's developed. And if you want to come as a star and work within them, you can do that. But teams built on one guy or whatever like that just don't seem to work out as well. Now, boxing was like that in a major way back in the day. They were less than just, maybe they'd never become more than amateurs and they'd end up being sparring partners. Yeah, but it's a really interesting way that things develop for fighters, and a sad way in many ways. But that's why you got to move on. You got to travel and find your own gym to the point where you can make your own way in the world. And at all the time, it's difficult because if you're one of those guys that really puts a lot on your friends or your comrades or your brothers, and we all do, I think, when we're very young, it's very hard to break away from that. And I'll tell you this, guys, I've had teammates to this day that thank people that actually screwed up their careers. They don't want to look at it that way because they can't look at it that way because it would hurt their being and who they are and everything. So they look at all these guys who screwed them over and they look at him like, yeah, that's my boy. I don't want to. I love that guy. Yeah, okay, but that guy really didn't help you, and it doesn't matter. And that's just the way we are. Sometimes it's better to look at a glass as a half full, I guess, but it's not the way I look at things. Everybody, read my book, Warrior of the